Let go and enjoy the damn place. Rain some whiskey. Rain some whiskey.
Recording here. That's the cool thing. It's right in front of me now. So it's on the screen, so I can click record. When I was using my Zoom H4n Pro, you had to arm. It was just phone. You know, it was no video. I would arm it, but then you had to actually hit it again to record. And sometimes I'd forget, and I'd go 10 minutes into a damn interview and be like, "Oh crap."
You know what? I had a Zoom device that I used in Devil City Angels to record ideas, and I would do the same thing. The thing would be blinking, but I never armed it. And you go back, and there's,
Nothing there.
I'm going to let this cat out real quick.
Right.
Get out of here. Go. All right. I don't think we should have any more distractions.
No worries. No worries.
Dude, this is a typical day right now. I mean, I'm chasing someone down, kicking the cat out. Then comes lunch here in a minute, and
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know?
Well, I already had lunch. I went ahead and ate early, so.
Yeah, thankfully Shelby's gonna probably have lunch at the neighbors here, so I don't have to make another mess. Cook, clean, mess with the cat.
Exactly. Well, first thing I want to get into, this is Chris with Hell Yeah Talk Show, and we are talking with Brandon Gibbs, Mr. Brandon Gibbs. Hell of a blues guitar player, singer, everything. I mean, dude, you even filled in. You sang with Poison. I mean, that's just.
That's kind of weird for a blues guitar player, right? I mean, yeah, that was. Well, the thing is with Poison. I mean, a lot of people don't know, but they're friends of mine, and they've been friends since my teens, and so that was like jamming with my buddies and my old friends, and felt like we're all in the garage again, rehearsing and going. I mean, of course, once we went out, it was a pretty large deal, but the rehearsal part, I mean, it just felt like, we're kind of picking this thing up as a fresh new deal, and it felt kind of cool to be a part of that. And again, as a blues guitar player, you don't. That's what I aspired to be early. And I think Ashton Kutcher said something the other day, like, don't be afraid to deviate from the plan. He was talking to like graduates and whatnot, and so I just kind of take it as it comes. And obviously, that was a wonderful group, and wonderful experience.
Well, it had to be. Well, I don't know if it was or not, but I mean, do you still get quivers, butterflies, nervousness, when you go on stage?
I really do.
Was that harder on you than it was to do your own thing?
Ooh, yes and no. It was hard. It was hard on me because, we were pretty top secret. We did everything pretty top secret. So our goal was to surprise the fans, not give anybody a reason to start typing away and going, oh, this will never work. This will never, we just wanted to come out, bam, and hit you over the head. So the butterflies of going out, like once I got the first show under my belt, I felt fine with it. But then he moved to a different territory, and Brett Michaels is my friend, and a lot of people just are used to him running out. And so that was the butterflies for that. But as far as the material, even opening for them as kids or going and watching my friends, I knew all those songs. So I felt pretty comfortable singing them. And then, when I do my own shows, you have a bit of, let's see, I'm 35 now. I'm still selling my stuff. I'm still selling my brand as Brandon Gibbs, and you really want that to be a hit. And so I think, honest to God, I think I'm more nervous doing my own shows because I know that it's
all on you.
This is me, and that those guys have spent 30 years creating a brand and fans across the globe. So there's just a lot of pressure. When I do my own shows, I tend to freak. I mean, people that know me closest, I didn't notice. And it's like, yeah, I'm pretty freaked out right now, but Hey, I'm going to plug this thing in. Give me 1 second.
All right.
Sorry about this.
Oh, that's okay.
Just want to make sure it doesn't go dead on us. Nothing like being prepared, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's I definitely think I get more nervous doing my own thing. But
Yeah. I can see that because everything is you. That I had a band years ago that I didn't. It was a solo project, but I didn't want to be Chris Blevins, so I just named it The Outsiders. And the reason why is because everybody that played on the album didn't play in the band live. So that was kind of the nameplay, but it was easier because it wasn't my name. And you've got everything. I mean, Brandon Gibbs clothing. I was just looking at your website, and dude, that's phenomenal. You've got everything. I mean, even on accessories, I was like, damn.
Oh, thank you. Well, thankfully, I have a great team that Doug George, Tony Kiefer. I got Diane Gibbs. She's managed me for the whole time. I have a great team that step up and help me out, and they have great ideas. I couldn't draw a stick figure to save my life, so I'm happy to have a bunch of wonderful people around me.
Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. And looking at the website first, everything was either white or blue, and I was like, "Damn, no black." But then I clicked on the bottom, Rain Whiskey.
Yeah.
And another part came over, and you can actually pick any color you want.
Yeah, you can kind of create.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with how they set it up. You can create your own color, your own swag, your own style. You can it can be your original piece. You could be the first one that creates that color scheme. So, and I've never seen that before. When I was in Cheap Thrill with the Cinderella guys, I remember when we would go merch shopping, you had two choices, and white, black, or black and white, and that was it. So this
especially
is really,
money wise.
Yeah, it's expensive, and it kind of stinks because, and I'm glad it's evolved, but it kind of stinks because you're stuck with that merchandise, and if it doesn't sell, you're stuck with it. This is one of those things where it's made on command, and when we're ready to move on to a new item, we don't have to sell out of all the old stuff. We can just, all right, that was a good run. We call it a run. We'll run this special for a little bit, and then the next thing comes out. So
right.
A lot of people will be walking around with kind of their own piece,
Yeah, that's very cool because me doing the band's t-shirts and everything, you try to stay easy and cheap and all that kind of stuff, especially being an up and coming band or whatever you want to call it. But you got a black shirt with a logo, and when people walk by, it's like, oh yeah, they got a shirt. But here lately, I've been going, and it's just like in the 80s. I went to the first concert I went to, rock concert, was Rat, and in 1985, and Bon Jovi was opening for them. And they had 30 shirts.
Right.
And I was like, that's just amazing, And then now I see it, bands that have tons of merch, more people are at their table than the ones that have 2 or 3 things.
Merch is everything. Merch and touring.
It gets you to the next town.
It gets you to the next town. It fills up the bank account, the bus tank, or whatever you're traveling in, the plane tickets. van. You know, it really is. It's a part of our living. Merch and touring, man. That's what's up. And I see a lot of, like, my friends from Visto Blanco. I'm sure you're familiar with
Mm-hmm.
Chuck Eric and Calico Cooper. They got merch that goes on for days, and it's unique and people love it. And so, yeah, I'm kind of really getting into it. I've always been kind of interested in fashion a little bit, which you can't tell because I'm always in a black shirt. But this is my dad, as you see.
But you change a lot. I see that. Not, I don't mean like change big, but your hair's different this month and the next month, and you might have a hat turned around backwards like that to the side. You know, like I'm wearing mine to the front to the side, and it's who you are, and you know who Brandon Gibbs is. If you don't, then you need to. But it's like the chain and the necklace. You look like I'm trying to think, and I can't really put my finger on it, but I was going to say a rock star meets Flava Flav. Not really, but you know what I'm saying.
It's so funny to me, though, because I've met Flav.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we did this thing called the Vegas Music Awards, and Devil City Angels did it, and then
now that was with the guys from Poison, right?
No, Devil City.
Oh, that's right. Tracy Guns.
Yeah, Tracy Guns, Ricky Rocket, and Eric Brittingham.
Eric, that's right.
We got signed to a deal with Century Media, and part of that year, we were nominated like the best super group, which I really hate that word because it sounds like we're tooting a horn or whatever. It
comes with the territory, though.
And I think they're super. I don't know about me, but Flavor was. He was at the show, and just how you see him on TV is the way he is in person. And
oh yeah.
Yeah. So next time we do an interview, I'm getting a damn clock, and I'm going to put it right here.
There you go. But when people see you, though, they know it's you. You know what I mean? And that's good. And you have your own thing. That's cool. And people get, and I got to say, I love the Rain Whiskey shirt with the American, the United States and the American flag, you playing the guitar, and then Rain Whiskey under it. Killer. I
got to give a shout out to Tony Kiefer and Doug George. Those guys. Tony took the photo. I think that was on the Planet X tour, the second tour, I think it was, and great photographer, rock photographer, and journalist. And then Doug George, this guy that we've known for years, but have never actually struck up a deal with him. He came out with great ideas and how appropriate, really, too, like with the American flag and right now and today it's like I feel like a lot of people are, I don't know, could use a little bit more. And I'm a proud Midwest boy, and that flag flies in all the houses here, and so it was important to me. And there's something American about rain. Like whiskey, socializing. I love to have parties.
There you go.
You can ask my parents and my brother, and I just love having parties, and I like it when people get tuned up, like I say in the song, and they let go, or maybe they do a shot of whiskey, and now all of a sudden they're not so afraid to join in on the campfire, sing along, and so I was very happy with how that came out.
That's cool. And your style, you can't put you in a genre. That's what I like. It's a little bit country. It's a little bit rock. It's you even got a little bit of rap in you.
Yeah.
It's and it's very cool. And Rain Whiskey. Now that, let's see, Robot Records. What was that label you signed with?
I'm with Golden Robot Records.
Golden Robot. I knew it was something Robot. So now Rain Whiskey, that came out as a single, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you hadn't really put out an album yet, right?
No.
Okay, so everything's been singles.
Well, I haven't put out an album with Golden yet.
Right, with them, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, and Rain Whiskey's been out, I hate to say, over a year? Has it been that
That's a
long?
good question. When did that come? If it's not a year, it's got to be getting close.
It's got to be, but, the last 3 or 4 months has just been so crazy that it seems like a year already.
It does really. That's a great way to put it, because, I mean, I thought I had, because I came out with another single, Leave.
Yeah.
And the bad part about Leave, I mean, I love this song. It's got a powerful message, and I'm sure you're probably going to get to Leave, but it came out right at the start of the pandemic, and I was in Atlanta doing 2 shows, and I thought, how's this going to turn out? And I thought, well, maybe it won't last as long as speaking of the virus, maybe it won't last as long, and we can get back. But it really, Rain Whiskey shot up,
Right.
over 100,000 plays on different media outlets quickly, and then
That's awesome.
And then but the label was pushing it, and myself and my fans, and then all of a sudden this funk came on, and I get it. People were not necessarily worried about spreading the good news of music, and they were really worried about, are they going to live? And so that was but I think once we get out of this a little bit, the next single will, I'd like to think the next single, at least I'll definitely push myself to make it every bit as good as, the 2 prior, and
Right.
And not have to deal with the Holt. Because I wanted the game plan was to release Rain Whiskey and go tour. Well,
Yeah.
I played Rain Whiskey, honestly, a handful of times, and then we released Leave, and I haven't even played that live yet because everything just got,
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm with Golden, and Rain Whiskey is probably my secret weapon. I just love that. That's a pretty aggressive tune.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love how it came out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and this has been this situation and everything for everybody, musicians and all. You want to stay relevant all the time anyway, no matter what, but especially in a time right now. So, you release the song, all this stuff hit, maybe, is there a lyric video to it, or is there anything like that?
There isn't a lyric video. See, and that was another thing is, when things stopped for me, things kind of stopped for the label too. And I'm kind of revamping and retooling our game plan. So
right.
There's a plan to do a proper music video for Rain Whiskey, and we just got into discussing that, and then a proper video for Leave.
Okay. Okay.
I think that it's funny you mention that, though. I think until we can, there'll probably be a full-on lyric video for Rain Whiskey until we can do it up right. And the lyrics are kind of funny. I mean, what is it? A shot of whiskey and a love tap. Get ready for my comeback. A lot of people don't hear that in the background.
Uh-huh.
So I think a lyric video could express the tongue-in-cheek part of that.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that keeps you relevant.
Sure.
Anything to do to stay in the public's eye. But you don't want to do the same thing. You don't want to keep forcing Rain Whiskey, just the download down everybody's throat. It's new, but it's still Rain Whiskey. It's Leave, but it's a video. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, that's just my opinion. But
oh yeah, I love media. And I think I have so many big ideas for these songs, and I actually think, even though we're in a weird time, releasing a great music video on Rain Whiskey, which has been out almost a year, it might almost be kind of like releasing it again.
Yeah, exactly.
Visual and what does Brandon look like after the pandemic? Does he have a mullet? Does he have is he looking like Johnny Depp and Alice in Wonderland? So it'd almost be kind of like everyone like, hey, we're back. So we got that to look forward to.
Well, one thing is you do stay relevant in social media, per se, especially Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
You and your daughter are always doing things, and playing music and this and that. I mean, it's just awesome, You're playing songs, that's good, so many, and the way the other bands are staying relevant is doing these, live things,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. I know everybody's got to, they got to do what they got to do. And, but to be honest with you, so many have come out of the woodwork that have never even played a live show for an audience.
Yeah.
Live in the same room.
Yeah.
and they're doing this, it's kind of like, wow, where'd you come from?
I guess maybe they consider that like their practice before they see real faces. I mean, that might be one way to take out the jitters. Is
Yeah.
To me, I've been asked so many times to do a live stream, and I want to, and I probably will. The thing is with me, I just part of my show is very interactive, and I like to tell, if I stop to tell a story, I like to joke, and I like to hear people, and
Yes.
I feel like that's a big part of who I am.
Yeah.
And when you take that away, then it's me being pretty damn serious.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure I can figure it's a lot of me getting inside of up here. I also have, I know that in artists are charging tickets to do these live shows, and
or Venmo,
I suppose
asking for donations
or whatever. And I get that. I really do. I would want to make sure that if I ever did that I'm given something that's real quality, that you can take something with you.
Yeah.
And then I'll feel okay about charging for someone to see me strum on a guitar on the internet. You know what I mean?
Right.
And there's
right.
nothing wrong with what anybody's doing. It's just,
Oh no.
it's up here. I always, again, psych myself out. I want it to be perfect. And, but on the same, there's not a whole lot else you can do. So it might not hurt for me to get outside of my head and try it,
Yeah. Well, to each his own. Everybody's doing it a little different. I don't practice enough to get on and do it myself. So, that's
yeah,
that's
it's nerve-wracking.
That's always been me. When it gets crunch time, I get it done, but just to be doing it, I'm not good at it.
I think what I could do is throw like like I was telling you, I love throwing parties. If I could get some friends here and perform for them, and then have
and do it live.
Yeah, and then do it
that
live.
That would be cool.
Maybe that actually would make me feel a little bit like I'm gonna be in the zone to interact, because maybe I could stop and interact. So
well, not just
you and I just fixed a problem right here, didn't we?
Yeah. And here's another idea. I mean, if you have that, someone can, whoever's recording you, live or whatever, they're looking at the screen and they can actually sit there and ask you questions after that somebody asks. Kind of like a Q&A live thing, which that's what you've done in the past. I saw you, at MVPs here in Ohio, in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And, it was kind of like that. I mean, you sang a lot more than you did questions and all that time, but I see that, so
sure.
That's an idea.
It's a great idea. I should just,
throw it together.
Throw it together. Yeah. And I think that's, I'm going to present that. Let me play in front of some people, and there'll be some laughter, and then I'll feel okay. I'll be like, all right, let's just get this thing going.
Right.
And they can see
but
me
don't think about it too much, because then you'll go, oh, no, never mind.
Oh, I know. I'm horrible. I'm an overthinker, and I hate it.
Now, last time we talked and did an interview, it was Blevins Nation, and it was phone interview, no video. And, you were actually, I think, in the works with doing going our talks or whatever with Golden Robot Records and Whiskey. I mean, I always want to call it Whiskey Rain. I don't know why that just pops in my head that way. Rain Whiskey.
Same difference.
And you know, it we talked about that, but we didn't really talk about that at all. You were just telling me you had things in the works and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
But now that you are doing that, and you said there was a new single coming out, can you mention the name of the next single? Not that anybody would know it because there's not an album, but I'm just,
There. So far, there's Rain, Whiskey, and Leave. I actually don't know what. I have a pile of songs I'd like to present, and that's usually kind of how it goes. I present the songs to the producer, and oftentimes I'll give the label the courtesy to see if they're picking up on it, because the worst thing that can happen is when you pour your heart into a project and you get an email like, hey, we're almost there. And as you know, you spend so much time recording and getting the things just where you want it and the tone that you want it. And so I try and make sure everybody's on the same page before we hit that button.
Yeah.
That way, a great song or a great performance doesn't go to waste. So to speak.
Oh, I understand. Now, are you going and recording these songs one at a time, or have you recorded a bunch? Oh, so one at a time. Okay.
One at a time, because the magic for me happens lyrically. I get things done at my house lyrically. Once I'm in the studio and I use these musicians in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, the DeJanes brothers, Luke DeJanes and Mark DeJanes, and I've used them for all my solo EPs. Just the chemistry, once we get together, you come up with this piece, and then you present it to them, and now it's almost like we're writing it again, and it turns into something really cool. Like, it blows my mind, because the thing I came in with comes out so much better, at the end, once we toss the ideas around. So I always tell people, like, are you writing songs? I'm like, I have the lyrics, but I can tell you this, the music will happen when I get into that room and figure out where we're going to take it.
That's cool. I mean, I've written one or two songs like that before where the music comes later, but I'm a guy, I have to have music and a melody in line to sit down, and then I just start writing words. I got it in my head, or I play it back, and all that. And then next thing I know, and I don't even know what I'm writing about until I get to the end, and I go, oh, that's what this song's about.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own way of doing it, but to me, that you're doing it the hard way.
I know, and the thing is, like, the hook, once I get the hook in my head, the hook, I have the hook before I go in the studio.
Okay.
The hook doesn't ever change. Respectfully, we might change a word or something right here, depending, but the hook never
your
really.
Phrasing.
So I have that going in. That's the first thing that I usually present is my hook idea.
Yeah.
And then we we stick to that pretty much for our chorus. And then the interesting part is what happens in the verses. And so you get something, little details happening in the verse, and then you hit to the chorus, and it's like, there's that thing that you came in with right there, and then you bring it back out, and you got another piece, and then you feed them the kind of the hook, line, and sinker. So yeah, I guess I kind of do have my dad always says I take the long way around everything. Kind of with songwriting too. It's just,
there's nothing wrong with it, I think I'm impatient is why I don't do it that way. To a certain extent, but I've seen everybody do it a little different,
Yeah.
But I like that idea of coming up with the hook first, and because I put more emphasis on the verses than I do the chorus. And I think that's where my songs kind of go down, is I'm just not a hooky person. I don't like the, Aerosmith, which I know they don't write all their songs, but especially in the 90s, and 2000 and stuff like that. But I mean, the song is based around that. And I base my songs around the guitar hook, if that makes sense.
Hey, Joe Perry, I mean, I can bet the songs that they wrote, whatever. I think it's a marriage between Joe Perry's riff ideas and Steven Tyler's,
Oh yeah, the way he sings just.
And then you get something cool like Sweet Emotion.
Oh
or
my God, my
Walk
favorite.
This Way, because I mean, Walk This Way, just that da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That in itself is a hook.
One of the best riff writers.
Yeah.
And
so, I mean, I would love to write with, a guitar player like Joe that also brings in a hook in itself.
Right.
And then so it's like when that song hits you, you're like, whoa, what the heck just happened? You got Walk This Way, and you got that cool riff that's in the middle of it. And I guess
I've never been big on I love listening to them, and they're a lot of my favorite songs, but the repeated chorus, like Walk This Way, walk this way, talk.
Yeah.
That's cool. My stuff doesn't do that. Maybe that's why I don't have a hit song.
Well, I always like when you're playing something to somebody and their head starts doing this, you've done something there. And so you should run with it. And to be honest, in my youth, my brother would get frustrated with me. He was my songwriting partner for years. And I would tend to write the verse way before I had an idea on what the hook was. And so essentially we don't know what the hell we're talking about, and it took years of practice to stop doing that. And then now I find the hook, and then in the verse, you're polishing the hook shoes, and you're getting it ready for its big day. And so think of it that way. You're getting your hook and your idea, your point. You're getting it ready for its big day at prom or whatever it may be. And so that's one way to think about it. If it helps.
So in other words, you put on the suit, and then you have to adjust the tie and fix the hair, spray on the cologne, and
yes, sir. Go out and look sharp, and that's kind of the marriage that the verse and the hook have. The one thing that always throws me.
I'm gonna have to try that.
Yeah, dude. The thing the one thing I struggle with the most in songwriting is sometimes I feel like it's going so great that I kind of trip over where I want to go with a bridge, because I don't like it when I'm writing with somebody else and we got this great thing happening. Like I said, the head's moving, and then all of a sudden the song takes a right turn.
Yes.
And you're grooving, and now all of a sudden you're going, oh, okay, so it's going there. And then it comes back. You need to go over there to an extent, but you don't want to throw it down, to the end zone. You want to bring it just a little bit of polish and bring it back. Yeah. Yeah. And I got a lot of room to talk. I mean, it's not like I have like a bunch of top 10 hits or anything like that. So feel free to completely ignore whatever.
Oh no. I mean, I love talking music and learning things and stuff. Do you ever sit down and actually just come up with riffs?
Yes, I do.
Have those turned into songs more often? Or
Leave started out as a riff, and I did it in what did I do it? Open G.
Okay.
And I had to think about that one. So I was thinking like Foreigner a little bit. Now, if you slow Leave down, because I went in there with it going around, out, and down, doon, down, doon, doon, da, down, down. Well, the producer said, check this out. Down, doon, down, doon, doon. So
tempo is everything.
Yeah, and so it kind of had this like Annie, Are You Okay drum beat.
Okay.
I'm going, okay, so that beat's kind of a hook in itself. And so, yeah, Leave was definitely a riff rock song. All My People that I did with Devil City, that was a riff rock. Like immediately when that riff comes out, and I've been playing it for so long because we actually recorded it. I recorded that with Ricky as a producer before he was ever in a band with me.
Mm-hmm.
He produced an album for us, and but once that riff kicks in, you know there's going to be something big.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely, I have had my share of the guitar taking it first, and it's always exciting to see where it goes. You know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So,
The single we just released 2 weeks ago, I think it was Friday. Yeah,
Right.
Friday 2 weeks ago. The song "Standing." Of course, it was everything I write comes out as it's got to be a riff, and if it doesn't catch me, I don't write. Put lyrics to it, you know. But I call that song my AC/DC meets Led Zeppelin because it's got the AC/DC crunch. And it's a Led Zeppelin riff.
Yeah.
And it's got a punk beat to it, you know. So it's cool. I love that.
Congrats, by the way.
Huh?
I said congratulations on your release.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I did a lyric video to it, you know, and everything. So, because, you know, we're broke.
Hey,
we don't have a backer. That's something I've never had, unfortunately.
So you know, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you.
Yeah, I know.
I've been in situations, you know, the whole time trying to get to where I'm at today, where you don't do it for the money, you do it for the passion, and you do it to try and climb a little bit of a ladder, and ultimately the goal is to, you know, get one foot over the fence, and then hopefully you can swing the other foot around, you know. And
yeah,
so,
yeah.
I feel for you, and I totally get it. You gotta make the best of what you have, and so it sounds like even with the lyric video that you're pushing it, and that's cool.
Well, I sent it to, you know, because I don't have PR. I can't afford $5,000-$10,000 for them to go, oh, we'll send it to all the radio stations, and then it doesn't mean they're going to play it, you know.
Yeah.
But the ones that I have befriended on Facebook, you know, I sent it to, and out of probably 15, there's 7 radio stations that are playing it, you know. Now, they're small mom and pop, but they're actual FM radio stations, you know. And, you know, I can't be, they like, oh, heck yeah, man, I love that. That's awesome, you know.
Cool.
So, you know,
hey, man,
you have way more advantages with the internet.
Those mom and pop, you know, podcasts, I mean, everybody that does them has great intentions, and you know, if they're in a band or whatever, a lot of times, like yourself, people that do podcasts and whatnot are in bands, and so you go to their city after you do the podcast, and maybe the band that they're in comes out and brings 12 of their friends, and so yeah, man, it's building. Every little bit counts.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Now, one thing I do want to get into with you is, if you got a minute.
Yeah, no, we're fine.
Okay. You know, I know you play Gibson, you play Fender. You had that one guy build you that telly with the F-hole in it. That's a
the Commander.
Love that. Love that.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
You know? And I've played tellies, Strats, all that kind of stuff, but I'm just a Gibson guy, you know.
Yeah.
Always have been. I love my shoulder hurting me at the end of the day, you know, and my back. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. Once you go Gibson, your posture is like that.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I mean, look what happened to Mick Mars. You know, he's a lot shorter than he used to be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's why he plays a Strat now. I mean, you can
he's
it is a little bit lighter. I don't know.
But what's your go-to amp?
Oh man, you know,
or does it vary?
Right now, I'm having a lot of luck with Mesa.
Okay.
I've always been a Fender Marshall guy, and I've had so many of them. I've had twins. I've had Silverface. I've had Blackface. I've had Fender Basemans.
Oh yeah.
I've
Now
had
that's a hoss right there.
yeah. Oh yeah. And you know, right now I'm in the Marshall Fender Mesa world, and I don't see myself getting out of that world anytime soon.
Okay.
So like the three that's in my touring rack right now is a Mesa dual rectifier.
Mm-hmm.
I have a Fender Bandmaster, which is it's modded, so it has overdrive and delay, and it's pretty cool. It's one of my favorite amps, and it's 40 watts, which is brilliant. And then I have
That's what I play through is a 40 watt.
yeah, and I think that the Mesa dual rectifier, I think you can get it down to 20 watts.
Okay. So it's on the back. I think it's 150 and then something else, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. And there, I have an orange. Oh, it's not a Tiny Terror, but I'll have to think. I can't remember what it was. We have so much shit. It excites me because I love gear. I love looking at it.
Me too.
Plugging it in. They all have their purpose, but right now, we typically take out three heads. Obviously there's backup, but it just right now I've been on Mesa since we did for a couple years now. I did Michael McDonald was my first show with Mesa, and hey babe, and yeah, I love it. And it screams, it does real well, has a wonderful clean sound, which is so important.
Yeah.
And you can get everything you want. And now the guitars, every one of my guitars seems to complement the amps that I'm using.
Okay.
And, it depends like what kind of gig you're set up to do. Like I hosted a blues, what was it? A blues fest or something like that at a casino. They asked me to be like the MC and the host, and part of my job was I had to stay on stage with you could basically come up and jam with me. And it was an open thing.
Okay.
Which I thought was really cool for fans and friends and for me. And I met some really great players doing that. But I think I used a Mesa dual rectifier and a 112 matching cabinet. I've never used a 112 in my life, but it was actually kind of cool. It had it kept right up with everybody, and I was stoked to try it. I mean, that's a tight
sound because it's only 112.
It is, but the thing is, I was thinking that we were probably going to remain in Strat mode.
Uh-huh.
So that tight sound with the single coil pickups, this will be real great. And then we started, one guy started an Allman Brothers song, and that's when I reached down for my one of my Gibsons, and I'm like, okay, I do wish I had, at least
a little bit more bass.
A little bit more bass. It calls for it, But that was I'll try anything, once. And I think Tracy Guns had me with a Buddha amp. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. I think it's
sure.
And there was a minute where I used a 2 PV412 cabinets. Excuse me. It was the combo, the 412, which was interesting. It didn't have enough. It would work for a blues gig, but for Devil City Angels, I found myself wanting a little bit more grit.
Yeah.
So we changed that out with a diamond cabinet with a Fender Bandmaster on top, and God, it changed everything up.
Okay. I've always been a guy that I like 212 cabinets because the punch is harder. You get way more bass with the 412, and you kind of lose the tightness.
The mid-range
is what I'm looking for. Because I like my tone. I don't use a lot of saturation. Gain. My gains maybe on 2. And I used to play PV like crazy. PV classic 100 heads on Mesa Boogie 212 cabinets. That was a fine sound. But I found Black Star now, and I love it. Love it.
Black Star, sponsored a gig we did. You might have been there. It was the Devil City Angels, Big John Murray's, his heart.
No, I didn't. I wasn't here. I'd only moved to Ohio not too long before so I missed that, unfortunately.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, that was my first experience with Black Star.
Mm-hmm.
And, man, they got the umph. They really do.
Yes.
I would like to talk with them at some point and see because I can't, it was a one-off, it was a one-off gig with Black Star. So I didn't really get to dive into it much.
Right.
I'll take your word for it. I'll have to give it a shot.
Now, I've never played their heads. I got a 112 combo HT40 club, and I've also ran a 212 Black Star cabinet off of that, so I'm just running 312s. But
Right.
I mean, good Lord, man, that 40 watt sounds like 100 watt. It will blow your head off.
I used to think I had to have the 100 watt, and damn it, I mean,
No,
my tone is so much better.
you can't play a bar gig with a 100 watt head and get the tubes hot enough.
That's the thing. It's like we bounce around so much from theaters, clubs, and a bar here and there, and you really just need to find something that screams but can be turned up in the mix, and not blow everybody out of the water. I've done that so many times, especially when I was younger. I wanted to be Stevie Ray Vaughan, man. So those amps had to be 10, and
the sound guy, all he does is grabs that fader and goes down.
Yeah, because at that point you're
not in the mix.
You're not even in the mix. You're eliminating. We used to do marinas all the time. I don't know why we got on this marina circuit. Probably because at the end of a Sunday or whatever, people would park their boats and they'd have concerts. And man, I was in the full on, and they were so drunk that they didn't know that I was technically swinging for the fence in the volume area. They thought it was cool. But.
That's awesome, man. Well, what are you looking at as far as salvaging? I guess that's what you would say. The rest of the year, as far as live shows.
Well,
because Nashville's open now, and
I've seen that.
Nashville's open, and they're at 75%, which is good. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's better than nothing. I mean, we have. I have a thing with Joel.
Yeah, what do you need? Okay, I'll be up in just a minute. My daughter wants lunch now.
You know what I'm talking about. I have a thing with Joel Hoekstra, an acoustic thing we do, and so I know there's October dates in New York and the Northeast, and we actually unfortunately had to cancel some at the end of June. We were staying as optimistic as we could, but we had to cancel 3 shows. I foresee, I mean, in my playbook, and I hope it happens. I think August moving on.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Like I love what I do, and I love the people I meet. The fact of the matter is, it's expensive, for us to come out. It is, and I mean, you not necessarily not salary wise. Just think about the plane tickets and the hotels people have to get us and things like that. And so, if they're only open at 50% and they can only sell 50%, at the end of the day, well, we're going to be taken care of, but they aren't.
Right.
And that's just,
Well, it's hard for them it's going to be hard for them to do it.
Yeah, and I've been so blessed in that I actually do see the other side, and that's maybe I'll never be a billionaire because of that. I won't take advantage of somebody, and so
exactly
when they're ready, we'll move. But I had a talk with Diane today. She said that it's probably going to be August on out, and we'll do as much as we can, and if it has to be. It has to be me and Hoekstra or whatever playing the small bar, 50 people. I mean, we'll at this point, we have to work together and we got to make changes together, and it might not be what we're used to. But somewhere we got to bend, and we got to bend together and get it back on track.
Exactly. And I see all these clubs closing down. Gas Monkey in Dallas, Texas, just closed doors.
No, they did not.
Yes, I just saw that on Facebook.
God,
Yeah.
that literally was my favorite place to play.
I've never been there, but just the things I've seen and heard and talked to people about, it was a phenomenal place. You know?
Man.
So, yeah, it's ridiculous. But, you know, the way I see it, somebody's going to come along and reopen it, buy it, whatever.
Well,
you know,
it's such a beautiful venue that when things straighten out, anybody would be lucky to get a piece of that venue. I mean, it's so awesome. Yeah, definitely. Well, shoot, yeah, man. Oh, yeah. Time, I guess now, no time like now is better. I don't know the word I'm looking for. Anyway, give me your best hell yeah. I don't know either.
No time like now or something.
Hey, we can stick with that. No time like now.
That's right.
I'm in.
But yeah, give me your best hell yeah.
Hell yeah!
There we go.
You know, I sounded like Joe Exotic there. Oh shit! Maybe we should. Hell yeah!
I've had them from craziness to one guy goes, "Oh hell yeah!" He was from Texas.
Well, I can do it. I can. Hell yeah! It's Joe Exotic. This is Brandon Exotic, and I'm saying hell yeah.
There you go. Well, man, it's been awesome. Everybody can check out Brandon Gibbs' music on Facebook. What is it on Twitter?
B Gibbs Music. It's also
Okay.
B Gibbs Music on Instagram. And the website is bgibbsmusic.com.
Okay. And is that the one with the store?
Yeah, the merch store
Merch
is
store, okay.
bgibbsmusic.com. Everything is pretty much B Gibbs or B Gibbs Music.
Okay, cool.
And
Well, I'm going to look into getting you one of those.
My license
shirts.
plate says B Gibbs, so
Right.
you see me coming, just if you can, just look the other way.
Well, man, I look forward to seeing you out on the road again. Hope you get to come to Cincinnati. I'm hoping we got a show opening for LA Guns on July 10th here in at the Blue Note in Harrison, Ohio.
Oh, okay. Congrats.
Well, you know, July 10th. I don't know. We'll see. But
Hey, we got to get back sometime, man.
Exactly. So that'll be a highlight of my life. Tracy's my favorite guitar player. So
He's wonderful. He's got
yeah. So,
he's a
so
legend,
that'll be
man.
fun. But
Yeah.
well, Brandon, it's been a pleasure. And so is your mom going to come back out with you? Oh, excuse me. Is Diane going to come back out with you?
You know what's funny is I like calling her mom because it freaks people out. They're like, you're supposed to be a rocker and you're calling, hey, mom. I'm like, I think it's hilarious. She hates it when we're out in like a business setting or whatever. And I'm like, hey, mom, am I supposed to be over there? She's like, I'm not mom. You're not 10 years old. I'm Diane. All right. Hey, Diane.
That's awesome. Well, I had the pleasure of meeting her, and she's a sweetheart. She's awesome.
Yeah, she's great, man. I hope to bring her out. I mean, she just enjoys the travel part, you know, and, the fans. I mean, they're all real good to her, and you know, sometimes if I feel like it, I bring her up and let her sing harmony, and I do that with my sister as well.
Yeah, I was going to say you had your sister out on the road with you that year too, a little bit. So
yeah, Brittany does real good, and she's done a couple festivals with me, and so I'm one of those guys where, you know, I absolutely love what I do. And if I have the opportunity to share it where you can go, hey, see what I do and see what I see, it's kind of a thrill. It's kind of fun. Give it a shot. I extend the invite. So
that's cool. That's cool, man. Well, we're going to get off here. But man, have a great time. Stay safe.
Thank you.
They say the masks don't work, but who knows? You know, so
I don't know who to believe anymore.
Exactly. I know.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
I just pray it gets better. And listen, thanks for having me. And
yeah, man.
We'll do this again. And thanks for talking gear. That was pretty cool. I like talking gear.
Oh, I love talking gear. You know,
a lot of people they go, what guitars? Like I like Fender. Okay, then we move on. I'm like, oh shoot, there's other stuff. You know.
It is. All right, man. Well, you have a good one, and we'll talk later.
Okay, brother. Take care.
I do. Be good.
Yep.